What you're going to hear on this channel, you will not get anywhere else on YouTube. We're going to talk about Kate Middleton, Princess Diana, satanic rituals, and Prince William. Because I believe it's all connected with the events going on. Prince William will take over from Prince Charles, I think, in April. So we have Kate Middleton, she's the Princess of Wales. Now she's been in hospital, so it's quite a serious condition. Now I believe her condition is down to anorexia. And this is what Princess Diana had, anorexia. Now, Kate Middleton seems to be related to this man called Thomas Middleton. So I can't confirm this, but I think it's correct, because all these people in the higher classes are related. Now, Thomas Middleton wrote a play called The Witches, and it inspired the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare. So we've just had the whole William Shakespeare thing, with the first man to get it was William Shakespeare. The Tsar, Nadim Sahawi, was from Stratford-upon-Avon. Shakespeare was born and died on St. George's Day. We had the emergency alert on St. George's Day. St. George is the patron saint of the Knight of the Garter. And you shake it before you spear it. St. George slays the serpent, the satanic serpent, for man to create the higher self. And in the play, Macbeth, which was co-written by Thomas Middleton, because the witches appear in both plays, witchcraft has been used to make Macbeth king. And he cannot be killed by a man who's born of the womb. And so he thinks he's invincible, but he is murdered by someone who was born of Caesarean birth. Prince William was born of Caesarean birth on the summer solstice. His mother, Diana, is associated with Isis. We're going to explore this because Diana is buried in an island, in a temple, surrounded by water. And we know that Diana, the moon goddess, has got a crown. The sun has a crown, the duality, corona. That Diana is always portrayed bathing. So she's associated with water. It's connected to the moon and the woman's menstrual cycle. Now she's actually buried in what looks like a Greek temple of Isis. This is her burial place. And she is in a temple, an island, and the island within the lake looks like an all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye of Isis. And we can make sense now of the legend of King Arthur. That the Lady of the Lake, who gives King Arthur the sword of justice, is Isis, Diana. I'll show you this in this video. So we have the film Excalibur, which tells the story of Arthur, King Arthur. And he is knighted, and you'll hear that he's knighted in the order of St. Michael and St. George. St. Michael and St. George are the same character. One represents the divine, and one represents the earthly. Again, a symbol of duality. So he's given the sword by the Lady of the Lake, which is Isis. So that determines the rule, the just rule of the king.
You're right. I'm not going to knight. You, Urians, will knight me. And I'd like tonight, I turn off your mercy. What's this? What's this? Keep back your hands! In the name of God, St. Michael and St. George, I give you the right to bear arms and the power to make justice. A duty I will solemnly obey.
So he's knighted in the order of St. Michael and St. George. You notice you have Merlin there. Merlin is John Dee. John Dee represents the Rosicrucians who use satanic black magic rituals to maintain power in England, and they are the ones who are controlling the royal family. And the royal family are themselves sacrificial pieces to this. So you have John Dee there as Merlin, and remember in The Tempest you have a Merlin-type figure, Prospero, who communicates with Caliban, who's this demonic being, and Ariel, who is this kind of angel, and there's a hint of abuse, and you have that on the BBC building, that statue. And so what it seems to show is that the British monarchy are ruled by people who practice satanic magic, and I think it's to do with the Rosicrucians, and that out of the evil, which I think is what they do, will come the good of the New Age. So that they are putting William as this kind of Masonic messianic figure, and I believe Rick Clay was right. So if we visit the temple, she's actually buried in a temple in Althorpe. There's the Diana temple. Again, Diana is Isis, the moon goddess, and she's always portrayed bathing in water, and the island actually looks like an all-seeing eye. So that's where she's buried. Now, Princess Diana's real father was James Goldsmith, who's associated with the Rothschilds. So she was Jemima Goldsmith's half-sister. So all these people are related, and the British monarchy claimed descent from King David and King Solomon. So there's the burial place. Now, you had Kate Middleton wearing this dress from Rosemary's Baby, like Diana. And what it is like in the film Excalibur, Pendragon gives his son Arthur to Merlin. So Merlin uses the sun to achieve his aims. And you will see that this is the plot of Rosemary's Baby. That a satanic cult grooms her in order to use her baby for their rituals. This is what Merlin does in the film Excalibur. He takes Arthur. And what it's showing you is that this John Dee group controls the British monarchy, and the British monarchy clearly seemed under some kind of mind control. So let's look at the Diana memorials, because she's buried. One is in Hyde Park, next to the Serpentine. The Serpentine represents the snake, the Kundalini, and there's a ring of water. Again, that's to do with Diana and the ring of water. And you have a statue placed there called the Isis statue, which is an ibis bird from Egypt. So again, associating Diana with Isis. Diana's perfume was called Isis. Diana was killed in Paris, which is named after Isis. She struck the 13th column in the Pont de Alma tunnel. 13. Now, she died the accident happened between 12 and 1 on the 31st of August, that's the verse 13. And she died in an hour called the witching hour, so between 12 and 1. Now, in Harrods, you also have a memorial called Innocent Victims for Dottie and Diana, and you have a bird. The bird, again, symbolises Isis, the higher self, the higher spiritual self. And as I say, these rituals seem to all be about creating this new age, and this idea of going back up the ladder, the Temple of Solomon. So there you have the memorial, and it looks like 666. You have a pyramid with the twin columns of Freemasonry with the candles. Now, the memorial was beside the Egyptian staircase, and the architect who designed the staircase was a friend of the royal family. His name was Bill Mitchell, and his art was concrete art, like a modernist concrete art, but he used to display Mexican sacrificial art in his art, and Indian also sacrificial stories and myths in his art. And he's the one who designed the memorial, and he designed the whole staircase with birds. And the whole point of the memorial and the Egyptian staircase was a staircase to heaven, and it was associated with Isis, which Bill Mitchell said in his own words, is the god of us all. That is what he said, the architect, Isis, Lucifer. So it looks like Rick Clay is right, and that Prince William, who's the 1000th Knight of the Garter, remember that was created on St. George's Day, and the patron saint is St. George. This is all connected to the crown, and that Prince William will take over from Charles, and I believe it will happen in April during the eclipse. Thank you.